I'm sure you have heard of the term a high value woman or a high value man multiple times. And some of you may be wondering, what does it really truly mean to be high value? In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some qualities that a high value woman possesses. And then just in case you've been wondering, this video is going to answer all of your questions. Let's get right into it, shall we? Before we get right into it, of course, if you haven't joined the family, now would be a good time for you to subscribe. If leveling up is something that you're all about, then this channel is certainly for you, because I share content that helps you level up and live the highest level of your life while still being truly authentic to yourself. So if that's what you're all about, then you definitely should hit the subscribe button and the notification bell just right beside it so you can get instantly notified whenever we upload a new video. And then, of course, if you haven't joined our email list yet, you've been missing out on a whole lot, as we have loads and loads of things happening on the email list. That's where we share valuable content that will still also help you level up on your journey. So if you're interested in joining our email list, kindly click the link in the description box down below and join us today so that you too can be on your way to receiving all of the valuable information that we share on the email list. So going right into the topic for today, what makes you a high value woman? Now, I'm focusing on the woman for today's episode because there's a difference between what makes you a high value man and what makes you a high value woman, even though that some points can relate to both the man and the woman. The first thing I'm going to do is start by defining what a high value person is. So just like the term high value implies, a high value person is a person who understands their worth, is constantly developing themselves, and has become a person of value to themselves, their immediate environment, and the society at large. That's pretty much what a high value person means in very simple terms. Now, a high value woman, of course, is a woman who is already living life at maximum capacity, taking advantage of each day to produce great results with the innate abilities that she has developed over time. She understands that she's not just in the earth to occupy space and knows that she has been given a unique purpose to fulfill. She does everything within her capabilities to thrive at her purpose. These are just pure, simple definitions that I derived and coined from that term, high value. When something is highly valuable, it means that that thing is very useful, it's very effective, it's functioning at its highest capacity, even though it still takes the time to develop itself per time. So if you relate that to yourself and you want to consider yourself high value, it means that you're very useful, you're very effective, you're functioning at maximum capacity, even though you are still taking the time to develop yourself constantly. You know who you are, you know what your worth is, and you're doing every single thing that it takes to be the best version of yourselves at all times. That's pretty much what a high value person is. So with that being said, let's get right into some qualities of a high value woman. So I have about 20 qualities here, and I'm going to start from, of course, the very first one. But if I find that this video is extending and becoming too long, we'll probably stop at the 10th one and then continue in another video with the rest, okay? But let's just get right into it, and based off of my explanation, we would decide or determine whether we would have a second video to discuss the qualities of a high value person. The very first point that I've put down here is that a high value woman has a high level of self-worth. Now, she understands that she has been made by someone who put a lot of value into her. The first thing she does is accept that value. You have to believe that the person who made you for an intended purpose. And because of that, he put a lot of things, a lot of valuable things, gave you a mind, gave you a heart, gave you emotions, gave you a body to function on earth. If he has blessed you with all of these resources, have you accepted these resources, and are you confidently basking in your individuality, knowing that you have been given every single thing that you need to thrive through life? Now, all of these things actually is what makes up your self-worth, is what makes you worthy of being on earth, is what makes you valuable. Do you recognize that value that you have? Do you recognize that the fact that you're breathing in and out is a valuable resource that has been given to you by the one who made you? Do you recognize that the very body you have is a valuable resource that has been given to you by the one who made you? What are you using this valuable resource to produce out of your life? Or first of all, have you actually accepted all of these valuable resources that have been given to you? You have a brain that thinks, or a mind that thinks thoughts. How are you putting that mind to good use? Or have you first of all accepted that you actually have that valuable resource called a mind? When you begin to literally look at things from a very dissecting point of view, you realize that the very little things that we take for granted are the valuable resources that God has given to us to help us thrive through life. So a high-value woman is a woman who has recognized that she has everything she needs, pretty much. Everything you need to thrive through life is already in you or within you, or you are staring at it right now. There is nothing outside of you that you actually require to make your life a super success. People get carried away by the world and the world's systems and the world's culture and think that you need things outside of you to actually thrive through life. That's not true. Have you harnessed the resources that you already have inside of you, and how are you putting them to good use? You have a brain, you have a mind, you have hands, you have eyes, you have ears. How are you using these valuable resources? First of all, do you know that you have these valuable resources? Start your journey from there, and then you will really discover quickly that you are a high-value person. The second point that I've put down here is that a high-value woman is a woman who is always willing to work on herself to become the very best version of herself. Now, I put here that she understands that life is progressive and knowledge becomes relevant at different stages of life. So continuous improvements, continuous development is the watchword of a high-value woman. She doesn't take learning lightly. Every opportunity she has to learn something, she takes advantage of it. And I'm not necessarily talking about going to the four walls of a school or reading one very tedious article that stresses out your brain. It can be learning things like basic makeup skills, skills that help you put your hair together, skills that help you dress better, skills that help you be confident or look confident. You have a career, you want to excel in your career. You read up on things that actually help you become better at your career. You take courses if need be. When you're watching the news or you're watching a show, you're not just watching it for entertainment. Of course, there's nothing wrong in that, but you are actually consciously taking the effort to learn a thing or two from what you're watching. You can learn from the people around you. By observing, paying attention, you can even learn from children. Learning doesn't necessarily have to be you sitting in the four walls of a school to learn something. I put here that when a high-value woman knows better, she definitely wants to do better. And the only way you can do better is if you know better. We are constantly doing all it takes to level up on every area of our lives. We want to level up on our finances. We want to level up on our dating life. We want to level up in our marriage. We want to level up in our fashion style, the way we speak, the way we talk. We are just literally looking to level up at all times. That's what makes you a high-value person, okay? The third point that I've put down here is that a high-value woman tells herself the truth at all times. I always say to people, and even to myself, you can lie to everyone else around you, but never ever lie to yourself. That talk you have or the conversation you have inside of you when you are all by yourself and in the privacy of your own company and there's nobody there listening to you or judging you or looking at you. Are you telling yourself the truth per time? Are you telling yourself the truth about things like when you know that you definitely need to improve on a certain aspect of your life? Are you telling yourself the truth that you definitely need to work on that? Always tell yourself the truth per time if you want to be considered a high-value woman, because apart from you just growing and developing by telling yourself the truth, you constantly are staying loyal to your feelings, your emotions, who you truly are, and are ensuring that you're living life based on the absolute truth of your own reality. So please, as a high value woman, it's important that you are constantly telling yourself the truth. Lie to everyone else. Never lie to yourself. That's if you must lie. But don't lie, okay? Before we go on to the next point, we have a course called The Art of Speaking Eloquently and Elegantly. Of course, as a high value woman, it's important that you know how to communicate your words effectively. So if you're interested in learning how to upgrade the way you communicate and the way you speak, then definitely this course is for you. Just click the link in the description box down below and it will take you straight to the landing page where you can get more details and more information about this course and how you can also get access to it as well. Okay? All right, let's get back into the points. Okay? The fourth point that I've put down here about a high value woman is that she takes full responsibility for her actions, whether they are good or bad, and she lives with the consequences of them. She doesn't go about apportioning blames to everyone for something that has gone wrong in her life or for an action that she took by herself, whether it's an action that was indirect or direct. A high value woman takes full responsibility, owns her actions with her full chest, and is willing to live with the consequences of it, whether again her actions are good or bad. Apart from not apportioning blames to people when things go wrong based off of a high value woman's action, a high value woman is also constantly giving herself accolades when she has made decisions that actually went right. So it goes both ways. When she's making good actions, she gives herself accolades and praises herself as much as she needs. But when things go south, she takes full responsibility for her actions. So if you want to be considered a high value woman, you have to learn how to take full responsibilities for your actions, okay? The fifth one is that a high value woman is self-motivated and very passionate about her goals. She understands the importance of keeping herself motivated, but she's not waiting around for anyone to inspire her or motivate her. Now, don't get me wrong, you can still get inspiration or motivation from people and things, but when the inspiration is not coming from the people you're looking up to, do you just sit around and sit on your hands and just do nothing? No, you self-motivate yourself and you inspire yourself as a high-value woman and you take the actions that you need to take. I put here that she's constantly motivating herself and she keeps her passion alive by that constant motivation and inspiration. At the end of the day, it's you and you alone in this world. Yes, you may have family members, you may have friends, you may have acquaintances, and you may have people to lean on. But after all is said and done, it's just you and you in the whole equation. So you have to ensure that you know how to self-motivate and inspire yourself at all times, okay? The next point is that a high-value woman is a woman who puts in the work to achieve success and would stop at nothing to achieve it. When you look at her, she's literally the hardest worker in the room. She would not rest until her goals are achieved. Of course, whilst having other beautiful qualities or a personality that actually accompanies that, which I'm going to talk later on. But she will do everything it takes to achieve success. She puts in the work. She wakes up as early as she needs to get to where she needs to get get the job done. As far and as long as she has set a goal for herself, she's willing to put in the work to do everything it takes. She's very disciplined. She goes the whole 9 yards. She never gives excuses. She never makes excuses. She just always ensures that she gets the work or the job done. That's one very important quality of a high value woman. Is that you? Is that who you are? Let me know. The next one is, of course, she's not a quitter. A high value woman does not give up easily. No matter how many roadblocks she meets per time, no matter how many challenges, she's not surrendering until she has the victory. She knows especially when she knows that this thing can actually work, she will do whatever it takes. And she knows that when she fails at something, it's not necessarily failure in itself. And it's not a sign for her to stop. It's just a sign for her to take a different route, take a detour, and try something new that might work. So she never quits. And if it's necessary for her to take another route to get that task accomplished, that's exactly what a high value woman is going to do. Okay. The 8th point that I've put down here is that a high value woman is a woman who has very high moral standards and values. Now, her reputation matters to her a great deal, and she constantly develops her inner strength so that she's able to stay true to her values against all odds. We are living in a time in society where moral values have been thrown to the mud. When you come out and you tell someone you have a high moral value, these are your moral values, they look at you and they look at you funny. Like, we live in society where lying, stealing, backbiting, where being shady, dishonest, having so many nonsense has become the order of the day, and this ought not to be so. As a high value woman, even amongst or living in this society where all of these things are happening, you maintain your value and you develop inner strength so that you are staying true to your value at all times. Loyalty is an amazing value. Honesty is a beautiful value. Kindness, having compassion and having empathy for people is a beautiful value. But a lot of people throw that away. To the self-love is a beautiful value. Loving others is a beautiful value. Your value can be you're staying away from sexual immorality. It's a beautiful value. But sometimes people get pressured by society and they throw their values to the wind. Hold on to your value. That's what makes you a high value woman, okay? The 9th point that I've put down here is that a high value woman is not afraid in any way to speak her mind. She has a mind of her own and is not afraid to speak up, especially when things don't sit well with her or when she requires more clarity on a subject. She is a speaker, an effective communicator. When she's not excited about something, she tells it to you in a very respectful but in a clear communicative terms. She's always very clear and expressive of what her boundaries are. She always talks. She's not afraid to speak her mind. When she doesn't agree with you on a particular subject, she lets you know that she doesn't agree with you. Of course, from a place of politeness, respectfulness, and consideration of the other person, knowing that not everyone has the same point of view on a particular matter. So as a high value woman, you shouldn't be afraid to speak your mind on topics that you disagree with or topics that you need more clarity on. Okay, and the final point that I'm going to talk about in this video would be that a high value woman is very picky about who she chooses to associate herself with. She understands the importance of choosing her inner circle wisely. Now, it's very important that you have family, friends, acquaintances, people you lean on and all of that as a person. But every wise, high-value person always knows that they need to choose their inner circle wisely. The value of your inner circle is not dependent on the quantity of people in that circle. It's dependent on the quality of the people in that circle. So in your inner circle, you can choose to have just one person. If that's the only person who maybe aligns with your values, who aligns with your goals. But a high value woman doesn't just let everyone in. It's a big mistake to let everyone into your inner caucus. It's a big mistake to let everyone into your vision, into your mind, into what is going on in your life. You need to be able to select the people, like literally be very, very picky about these people and then be sure that you're making the right decision. Of course, how do you do that? You pay very close attention to your intuition. Of course, another way for you to do that is when you meet a person, don't just let them in. Allow them to pass the test of time. Let them pass the test of loyalty. Let them pass the test of honesty. Let them pass the real test of how they would respond to a situation that's not so pleasant or pleasurable. Don't let everyone in. Everyone doesn't deserve a right to come into your inner chambers or your inner caucus. And by that, I don't mean like a physical place. I mean like the inner parts of your life where you give them access to everything going on in your head. So a high value woman is highly picky of the people that she chooses to associate herself with. Now that's the first 10 points. Like I said earlier, I have 10 other points which I'm going to share in another video so that this video is not too long and then I don't lose your attention while I'm talking, because I believe that this is actually a very important topic to discuss. So watch out for the video. It might go up next week or the week after that. But definitely we're going to film it and we will put it up. We'll put it out there. Okay. But in the meantime, before then, if you have some other qualities that you believe that a high value woman should possess, let us know in the comment section. We can continue the conversation from there. Okay. That's all I have for you for today's video. I'll definitely be back again on your screens. But until then, remember to stay very, very elegant. Take care.